Hi guys, my name is Alicia. If you don't know who I am, I make thrifting videos every single week. And this week we are thrifting in New York City. We're here at the Goodwill, so let's check it out. So this was the Goodwill on 14th Street and 5th Avenue. It was recommended by a few different YouTubers, so I knew I had to check it out. I first had to look at the jeans, which I was surprised at how many name brands there were, like Free People, Urban Outfitters, Zara, Abercrombie & Fitch. But y'all know I'm into vintage, so this wasn't really appealing to me. Then I looked at the jackets, found this Levi's one, and the prices were pretty expensive for certain items, but honestly pretty comparable to Value Village back at home. I thought this little brown button-up vest was super cute with the flower details. Then I had a peek in the men's jeans and found these vintage Calvins, which unfortunately were not my size, plus the price was a little bit steep. Next, I looked at the shoe section, which was pretty chaotic with random bins that you just kind of had to dig through. I did find one Doc Marten, which was pretty cool, but I don't know where the other one was. These boots were kind of cute, but they were just Zara. These strappy heels were also cute. Found some jellies, but other than that, nothing really intrigued me. Because I wasn't having much luck, I figured I should check out the dresses next because I tend to always find vintage in the dress section, regardless of where I go. I thought this dress was so cute, loved the black and like micro floral print. It's from the brand Necessary Objects with the paper tag and everything. I totally would have gotten it, except that the neckline and hem were completely cut out. I don't know why anyone would do that, but it was quite disappointing. Until I found this dress, a little stripy guy from the brand Fashion Magazine, made in USA. And it was only $11.99, which I thought was pretty reasonable. I kept stumbling across so much Princess Polly. It definitely felt like these were a lot of like influencers donations, if you get what I'm saying. I kept looking through the tops, found this Aritzia top, some more Aritzia. There were a lot of name brands in this store, so if you're into that, I definitely recommend this location. I thought this vintage sweater was kind of cute, but it was made of wool and I'm pretty sure it was shrunk and also kind of pricey considering. So at this point, I decided to try on the dress, which was such a treat because we basically don't have change rooms back at home anymore. But I actually really liked this dress when I tried it on. I thought it was really unique, the color suited me, and of course, I loved the neckline. This was our first day in New York, so we also checked out the holiday market in Union Square, which was just down the road, and then ended the night at a comedy show. The next day, we filled up with some bagels before heading to the Empire State Building to check out some views of the city. Ralph Lauren's definitely one of my favorite brands to thrift, so I had to try their coffee from their little coffee stand. But next we headed to the East Village because I wanted to check out this vintage store called L Train Vintage, once again recommended by a bunch of people on YouTube. I was interested in this one because a lot of people said it had pretty reasonable prices. So first had a look in the t-shirts, which most of them unfortunately weren't even vintage, which is one of my biggest pet peeves of any vintage stores. Matt found this pretty epic wolf long sleeve, and then I checked out the jeans, thought these were pretty interesting with the jersey material. These green Levi's were pretty cool and only $15, which I thought was pretty reasonable. Then I saw these Tommy jeans, which were pretty unique, once again only $15. But I didn't really find anything else in the jeans section, so I moved on to the women's section, which was quite small at the back with dresses and coats. This skirt was pretty cute with the floral needlepoint print, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't actually vintage. They also had an extensive collection of Christmas sweaters. This Snoopy one was super cute, but overall this store kind of underwhelmed me. It was just a lot of really typical vintage stuff and nothing really stood out to me. So then I quickly popped into this little thrift store that was around the corner. This was more of a traditional thrift store with all kinds of different brands. They had a pretty big shoe selection. I found these brown dogs for only $25, but they weren't my size. And overall, this thrift store was very jam-packed, making it hard to look through things. And it kind of had more of vintage type prices, even though it was not really a curated store. And then lastly, later that night, we headed to Dumbo to check out the Brooklyn Flea. This was a small little market with just a handful of vendors. I thought this bag was really cute, but I already have something similar and I just really didn't need it. We particularly loved this booth that had this like eclectic vibe to it with these comic strips and watches. This Winnie the Pooh one was really cute. And we actually ended up picking up some magnets as souvenirs, which were actually repurposed from poker chips, which I thought was pretty cool, sustainable. And that pretty much wrapped up my thrifting experience in New York City. Okay, so I am back from New York City. If you couldn't tell, I am suffering from a little bit of a cold, so my voice sounds a little wonky. But it was a lot of fun. I definitely got my thrifting fix while I was there. Even though that wasn't the focus of the trip, I managed to fit it in, of course. So I'm gonna give you guys kind of like my full review of thrifting in New York. But before I do, I just have to say a quick thank you to the sponsor of today's video, which is Ana Luisa. If you don't know who Ana Luisa is, they are my absolute favorite jewelry company and the only jewelry that I wore on my entire trip. I just absolutely love their design so much, and they have the perfect balance between quality and affordability, with style starting at just $39. And they sent me 2 new pieces to add to my collection. The first one are the Toda mini earrings. I only have my singles pierced, so I thought this would just be the perfect little piece of jewelry to kind of give that illusion that I'm wearing 2 hoops. I especially love the little diamond design on one of the hoops. I just think it feels extra dainty and kind of differentiates the two. I just thought they would be such a perfect New York City vibe. And then the second piece that they sent over is the Amara ring in black. I've been wanting more of like a statement ring for such a long time, so I was so happy that they sent this one to me. I wear a lot of black clothing, so I feel like the black accent really matches with a lot of my outfits, and I absolutely just love the little star diamond detail in the middle. So cute. And I don't know about you, but I find that rings are usually the first pieces of jewelry that really show a lot of wear, just because of like how many things you come in contact with them in a day. But I think this one is holding up very, very well, considering, you know, I just spent the whole weekend gripping onto the subway poles and holding up umbrellas because it rained the whole last day. Like, honestly, I don't even see any imperfections on it. But if you are still worried about the quality, Ana Luisa actually offers a 2-year warranty on all products, so you really have nothing to be worried about. I think it just really goes to show how important sustainability is to them, because clearly they are making pieces that are gonna last. So if you want to check out Ana Luisa for yourself, or maybe to gift a loved one this holiday season, I have definitely gifted Ana Luisa before and it's always been a hit, then definitely check them out using my link and my code in the description below to actually get 30% off. So thank you so much to Ana Luisa for sponsoring this video, and let's get into the haul. Okay, so this may or may not come to you guys as a surprise, but I only thrifted one thing on this entire trip. I ended up checking out even more thrift stores than I ended up planning on, yet I still only ended up coming home with one piece. But like I said, thrifting was not the whole like goal of this trip. You know, I can thrift anywhere. New York City's obviously special, but I didn't want to spend too much time thrifting. And I'm sure I could have gone to, you know, cooler places, but I was well aware that like vintage in New York is expensive, so I honestly like didn't bother going to those types of like vintage stores. So all that considered, the fact that I found one thing I think is pretty good. But not gonna lie, it kind of made me really appreciate Toronto and like the Toronto thrift stores and even vintage stores, because, you know, although I didn't spend that much time in New York, I just feel like I have a lot better luck here in Toronto. So not saying they're bad or anything, but it's with any city. Like when you're in the busiest places, they're definitely going to be either really picked over or really expensive. So anyways, the one piece that I did end up picking up is just this dress that you would have seen me thrift. This is just this super cute little mini style dress with this really fun like striped print all throughout. We've got some browns, we've got some blues, and it actually has this really unique like kind of fuzzy texture to it. And then it's fairly simple with just a square neckline, which, surprise, surprise, that's like what most of my dresses are shaped like. And then these cute little tiny thin spaghetti straps. I was kind of on the fence about this one because I wasn't 100% sure on like how I was going to style it, but I feel like by itself in the summertime, or even just with a t-shirt or a long sleeve underneath, I could totally make it work. And I figured, you know what, we're in New York, I'm just gonna take a chance on it. And this is from the brand Fashion Magazine, and of course it's made in USA, truly vintage, with that little paper tag. So I don't know, I just thought this was really cute. It would be a really fun souvenir for my trip. It was only $11.99, which is like not the cheapest. I mean, it's pretty on par with like Value Village, I'd say, here in Toronto. But like, of course, with the conversions and everything, this was probably closer to like $15 Canadian, but still really not bad, considering that Goodwill did have some items that were pretty pricey. So I think I got a pretty good deal for this one. But yeah, I do feel like it is very me. Like, the more I look at it, the stripes, like the silhouette, everything about it. So I'm very glad I got it. But yeah, that pretty much concludes my thrifting in New York video. Something about me, any place I go to, I gotta check out the thrift store. So New York obviously wasn't any different. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed watching my little thrift adventure. If you have been thrifting in New York, I'd love to know like what your experience was like, if it was similar to mine, or if you found some bunch of really cool stuff. Do you think I made a good choice buying this dress? I don't know, let me know in the comments. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to check out Ana Luisa using my link in the description, and I will see you next week.